All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mark and I have a show for you guys tonight. It is loaded. We've got Zeus passing away at 62, NXT War Games Fallout, SmackDown AEW annihilates NXT in the ratings. WWE not so happy with Snoop Dogg. Vince reportedly sending some talent back to the PCs for more training. All that and more. I am Boxman. He is Smark, and we are your Dirt Sheet Dudes. Let's get this shit rolling, folks.
After it's all said and done, you're gonna be taking splinters out of your fat asses all night long. You got fat asses. The only chance you have no chance. If you had a chance, if you could run lickety split, you can't run because of the fat asses. Well, Ric Flair, you know what? I'm not a normal looking athlete myself. You know what I'm talking about? I've been in the gyms a lot. It's a privilege and an honor to walk out with Ole Anderson, Lex Luger, and the Omelet tomorrow night.
I am not a happy camper. What is Bully Ray's motivation? You know I know he loves sugar. But I check my pocket. I don't have no donuts. I don't have no cheeseburger. I know you love sugar, but I ain't got none.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here in Nashville, Tennessee, pal. I'm the man.
Look at a match for the total package, Lex Luger and Super Brawl. Super Saturday, what is it? I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday?
You don't lose faith in winners. And Ric Flair, day in and day out, every day of his life, just keeps winning and winning and winning.
Ric Flair! New York City, Ric Flair! You're gonna find out what hard is all about! I do exactly what I want to do. You say I'm insane. I say thank you very much.
Make a good lucha.
I hate God! Hit the deck! Yes! We love your steps,
Today, I've got the style and profile like never before.
You guys talk about being students of the game. I am the game, JR.
Oh, yeah. What is going on, everybody? I bet you're wondering, what in the hell is he playing right there? That is David Hasselhoff's metal song with the band called Q-Stack. That is Q-Stack and David Hasselhoff right there. And I see I have my sound up on this computer, so I will stop that music right now, actually. And I will turn that sound down. Sorry about that, everybody. What is going on, Dirt Sheet Dudes? I am Boxman. How's everybody doing? Smark!
Yes, sir.
Sir, how are you tonight, this Friday night?
I am doing A-okay. How are you?
Oh, actually pretty good, man. Actually woke up in a good mood, had a good day. Turning down the sound on this computer because we got a few more clips to play tonight. And doing good, man. Doing very well. Even though we got a few bad things to talk about tonight, which we'll get into in just a minute here. Real quick, though, Smart, I don't know if you mind. I'd like to go ahead and knock these plugs out real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get into what we've got to get into. Because we do have a lot to get into. There's not a ton of news, but we'll go ahead and get into some of this stuff real quick. Let's go ahead and knock out these plugs. Give me 1 sec. Just finding something to play.
I do not mind at all. In fact, it is my pleasure.
All
It's
right.
my pleasure to plug everybody at home.
Let's just plug them. Give them a big plug, one right in the face. Not like that. You perv. You fucking perv. Anyway, hi, Marks. I wanted you guys to check out Cheeseman, Mojo, and G-Wiz. You can check those guys out every Sunday night. Mixer.com/Metal Network. That's right. 2 T's in Mitt. Mixer.com/Metal Network. Check those guys out. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Times on Sunday. And, of course, Bobby Anthem and Bobby Blades. I want you to check those guys out right there. That's the Inhuman Experience. Check them out. You will not be disappointed. I promise you. And I don't promise that much. But definitely go listen to them. All the usual podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google, all those right there. You will find them. And, of course, Unscripted Wrestling Podcast, Blog Talk Radio. They are doing, matter of fact, they're doing one tomorrow. Doug will be giving his Rain Man. Yeah, Unholy Race. Yeah, Holy Race. Definitely want to check that out tomorrow. Blog Talk. Definitely. Yeah. And Stephen Milan, I appreciate you sharing the show. Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan. Double up those L's. That's where you can find him over there reviewing movies. And you can review us. You can review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. And if you're looking for the archives, you can go to Shout Engine, but you can also go right to YouTube and find those archives right there. Smark, let it roll, sir.
Yes, sir. Monday, 8:30. Metal Podcast Network is the place you want to go because you want to listen to Cheese on Sports. That's what happens every Monday, 8:30 at Metal Podcast Network. And, of course, be sure to the planet Rack on Tour podcast. It's Planet Rack on Tour podcast. There's no better podcast to listen to when trimming the tree, lighting the menorah, or doing whatever the fuck happens on Kwanzaa. Bobby Anthem, Papa Dave Sincere, and Yuck Nasty are your guide. 16 episodes. Anywhere you get your gosh darn podcast, check them out.
Oh, let them guide you to those 16 episodes. And happy Hanukkah out there to all the Jewish folk. Really, it's just a early present opening for my children. They haven't figured it out yet. But
do you do like each day with them, or you just do like one kind of this is Hanukkah, this is Christmas?
No, we do the Hanukkah, but me growing up, my mom never took Christmas from us. We would always go to my grandmother's for basically the 8 nights of Hanukkah. But my mother, who's a Jewish one, her favorite holiday is Christmas. She loves Christmas. She always has, always will. So she never took Christmas from us children. And I will never do it to mine. So we do all the nights of Hanukkah. But you got to remember Hanukkah. The presents are small, and then a little bigger, and then a little bigger. I mean, you give them like Legos the first night, and then pillows, we gave them pillows tonight. That's what you do. But then they do Christmas. I'm never gonna. I would never want my kids to wake up on Christmas Day with nothing under their Hanukkah shrub, aka Christmas tree.
Right.
So that's kind of how we do it. I guess we need to get into a little bit of bad news, even sad news. Tiny Zeus Lister did pass away, I believe yesterday at 62 years old. Reportedly, he was experiencing some COVID symptoms. Does not mean he died from COVID. TMZ didn't actually say he died from COVID. They did say he had some COVID symptoms, but that's all they really said. I got to tell you, man, when icons from kind of my day go, it's a little tough, man. Zeus is known for a few things. Smart, I'm sure you know many things he's known for. He has been in WWE. We are going to play a couple of those promos for you guys tonight. Actually, right now in a few minutes here. But you got to remember, this is a guy who's been acting since 1984. Smart.
Mm-hmm.
He was in an episode of fucking Webster. That was his first acting job. Was a football player on Webster, that old TV series. And yes, I'll go ahead and say it. He was in one episode of NYPD Blue, of course. But obviously he did. I mean, me and Anthony did No Holds Barred on the Hollywood Hangout. You guys are welcome to listen to that. Go over to Shout Engine and check that out. ShoutEngine.com/Hollywood Hangout. But obviously he's more known for the Friday movies.
Mm-hmm.
But really, this guy has been in so many movies. I mean, The Fifth Element. The guy was the president of the of the fucking galaxy. In The Fifth Element. I mean,
a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, he has been in so many movies. He's done voices for video games. He has, I mean, just all the things I've seen this guy in is just amazing. I mean, and you know, he's not the most popular actor in the world, I'll say that. But 220 credits to 220 acting credits to his name. That's not an easy thing to do. 220. Okay, he's got movies coming out. Even, I mean, he was filming 2 movies right now. A movie called Renegades and Last Chance to Dance. So he did have movies coming out. We will see him in movies. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 movies with him that are in post-production. We will see him in more movies coming out in 2021, maybe even after that, depending on when these movies come out. But Smart, give me some, I mean, what are some of your really memorable things of Zeus?
Well, I mean, obviously, one would be the Friday series.
Mm-hmm.
I did see No Holds Barred as a child.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, like the Friday thing is obviously going to be like the most kind of pivotal thing that he's remembered by. But like, it took on such a big presence. Like his presence in the movie was so big and substantial and memorable that like I remember being in high school and like anytime somebody would like take something, they wouldn't say they stole it. They say that they deboed it. That they just like fucking grabbed somebody's pencil or took somebody's fucking lunch money or whatever the fuck. So I mean, I don't know if necessarily having your name being synonymous with stealing is great, but like, you know what it is. Like it took on like a whole like cultural phenomenon in and of its own. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you're right. It did. That's people. I mean, even in my days, people called it deboing something from you. So yeah, it was.
Oh, he was also in the music video for that song "Riding Dirty," the Chip Millionaire song.
Oh,
I know that doesn't mean much to you probably, but there's other people. Basically, he played like I believe he played a cop in that movie, or music video. So there it is. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like you said, a lot of voice acting in video games using the Scarface video game. I played that quite a bit. I'm just kind of looking through some other things because you never really kind of fully appreciate. Oh, he was in fucking Austin Powers Goldmember.
Yeah, he was in one of those movies. I mean, literally, if you look on IMDb and scroll through, you're going to be like, God damn, he was that. I mean, he was in the Dark Knight movie. But I mean, like I said, man, 220 credits in movies and wrestling. Wrestling's included in there to this guy's name. Whether he was in there for a minute or anything, you knew he was in there. Literally, 3 days ago now, I watched the episode of NYPD Blue he was in. He played a guy named Bob. Basically, he was a hitman in that movie. He did not have a long part. He was in there for maybe 2.5, 3 minutes at the most. But, you know, I always remember Zeus, and he was like one of the first big, jacked guys I remember, you know? Just to me, just as a kid, I remember Zeus, and I'm like, God damn, this guy is just fucking jacked as a motherfucker. I mean, he's been in movies. I mean, he was in Jackie Brown. He was in a movie, Gang Related. I believe, you know what? I think me and Anthony did that movie. That was, if I remember correctly, that was the one with Belushi, right?
You know,
yes.
I can't answer that one, but what I did see
it was Belushi and Tupac. Me and Anthony did that movie also.
Well, there's another movie that he was in that you guys did that you love.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did. And you know what? Actually, he was in Fat Beach. I do shit on Fat Beach. One day, I don't care when it is. And Anthony's got that movie coming. One day, I don't care when. I mean, that's going to come up on him one day. But me and Anthony are actually talking maybe January, February, bringing back the movie show. Maybe. I mean, you all know how things kind of ended there. But, you know, Zeus just, like I said, one of those bad motherfuckers that just was huge. He was in Trespass. Mm-hmm. I love Trespass. I love that movie. Universal Soldier was another movie he was in, the first one. He just showed up in a lot of those 80s, 90s, early 2000 movies. He may not have been the most famous actor in any of them, but he was the one person you were like, oh, shit, that's Zeus. Maybe being a wrestling fan, that's why it did it, but maybe. I don't know. But WWE Network, and to be honest, I wouldn't even have known this. Anthony put it up there. WWE Network did put up some of his promos and some of the things he did. I've got 3 here that are under 2 minutes. I figured we'd go ahead and play those. Most of these are from Primetime Wrestling, and they were I believe it was Survivor Series. He went against was it Survivor Series, Mark?
Which match are you talking about? I'm not entirely sure.
How many did he have? Did he have a bunch of matches?
He had a couple. I mean, in WWE, he had a couple, but then, of course, there was the WCW run as ZT Gangsta.
There was the WCW run. But after this little commercial here, I'll go ahead and play that first little clip right there. It's mostly, it's with Sherry. Man, you forget how good Sherry was until you see her in this clip right here. But there's Sherry, Sensational Sherry, Macho Man, and then Zeus talks for a minute. I'll play this one, and like I said, I got 2 more after this, and we'll go ahead and move on. But I did want to give a little tribute out to Zeus, being he was involved in so many things. So here we go. Play this one real quick. Oh, come on, you motherfucker, you fucking WWE Network piece of shit. All right, give me a second here, guys. It wants to play. It says it's going to play, but it's not playing. So hold on one sec. You got me still. That's not a problem. Let me go ahead and hit this. And we're probably going to have a commercial. Of course, a commercial. Because WWE's got to get their money.
Hey, speaking of commercials, I don't know. I'm trying to decide, is this a local thing, or is this like, have you been seeing this too during like wrestling, but specifically more so AEW? There's been these commercials for like Flex Auto loans or some shit, or financial loans, and it's these 2 guys. They're professional, like they're supposed to be wrestlers, but they're obviously just like nobodies. And like one of them's got the other guy in a headlock, and he's talking about these like Flex loans with them.
No, I haven't seen that one. It must be local to you.
Okay then. Well, I'll have to dig that up and send it to you.
There you go.
See if
all right.
Find it on the old.
Well, there you go. Let me go ahead and play this. I think I have it. Let's see.
Into it, some type of brew, and then I see her as the smoke clears. Hulk Hogan and Beefcake are drinking it. What is happening to them? They seem to be believing something that isn't true, hallucinating, thinking that they're something that they're not, something they'll never be. Brutus Beefcake, your scissors are sharper than ever. Hulk Hogan, you seem to be believing that you're bigger than anything.
You know, real quick before I keep going with this, I'm looking at this video. I'm looking at Macho Man. I'm looking at Sensational Sherry. And I'm looking at Zeus. And I'm realizing they're all gone. Man, I just had a moment there. But I'll keep playing this real quick. It just hit me. All three in this video.
I mean, even sadder than that, like, well, not sadder than that, but sad in and of its own right is like all three of those people have very like larger than life characters.
Yeah.
That's kind of a problem, a little bit of something that we're missing nowadays. It's like all three of those people are very kind of different, but they all kind of have their own way of grabbing your attention.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, WWE didn't just put up these clips separate. They actually time-stamped them and put them to jump 2 moments. And, you know, you got to give them a little bit of props for that. So here we go. Let me go ahead and finish this up. I'm looking at this going, my God, all three of these people are gone. You know, Zeus just passed. All three people in this video. And it just hit me. So anyway, here we go.
Thing that's ever existed. Hallucinating is what you're doing.
Complete mental insanity. Yeah, your reality is out of sync. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, if I'm lying, I'm dying. This man right here is impervious to pain. Yeah. And he is the baddest dude that has ever walked the face of this earth. Hulk Hogan, you have got to accept the truth. Zeus, man, you are a god, and Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake got to accept it. Hulk Hogan, Beefcake Barber, train hard and eat your vitamins on your hands and knees to your god, Zeus.
Dude, I would say this is Zeus's prime. This is probably the biggest Zeus was when he was in the WWF at the time. I mean, you know, he wasn't the greatest promo cutter, but hey, man, it was still great back then. And here's another one here. I'll go ahead and play this one. Let me get this one loaded up. Hopefully, let me see what ad it's got before it. Let me turn this down real quick. Guess it's got an ad before it. That was from 1989. This is also from 1989. It does have an ad. Give me a sec here. I'll kind of kill this one. This was the Survivor Series teams getting ready for Thanksgiving night tradition. And here we go.
Guaranteed the $1 million team. We're going to have an awful lot to be thankful for. Because if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. There's no greater incentive in the world than a lot of money. And with the money that I have got on the line here, these men are going to be thankful for the rest of the year. Warlord, tell them that.
You picked all of us because you know we aren't survivors. Once it's not enough for the powers of pain. So once again, step in the ring against you, Demolition. And with the money you paid us.
Debiashi, all the money can't buy anything. Every person we're going to cripple. The more bonus we're going to get. That's right, exactly. For every crippled person, there's a bonus. What do you think they're going to do? You know, in the corporate world, you can't afford to make very many mistakes. Because if you do, you go bankrupt. And this man never makes the same mistake twice. I made one mistake, Jake the Snake, and that was not eliminate you completely the first time. I won't make the mistake again. This time I'm going to send you back to that hospital that I put you in to begin with. And one by one, we're going to eliminate the Hulkamaniac team. And that's going to leave in the middle of the ring, Zeus. One enormous turkey. That's you, Hulk Hogan. Zeus, what are you going to do? Hulk Hogan, this time I am going to destroy you fucking.
Oh, he was a hyper son of a bitch, man.
I'm getting a nosebleed from this.
Holy shit, man. He was you know, I mean, listen, again, I mean, he was kind of an outsider at this time. But No Holds Barred was out, and they were using it. They were using the shit out of No Holds Barred to promote this thing. And you remember this was the time where Zeus had the Z cut in his, in the left side of his hair and stuff. Just great stuff, man. I don't know. I like the guy. I always did like Zeus. Every movie I saw him in, holy shit, it's Zeus. I mean, that's pretty much what we all knew him as, is Zeus.
Right.
Let's see what we got here.
No holds barred. The first time in history, the match and the movie on pay-per-view. It's the greatest tag team in sports entertainment history. Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake collide with the Macho King Randy Savage and the human wrecking machine Zeus inside a steel cage where there will be no holds barred. That's the match. And of course, the movie. One of 1989's biggest hits, starring the World Wrestling Federation champion Hulk Hogan. Plan to see it on Wednesday, December the 27th, exclusively on pay-per-view. On the subject of the match, right now let's hear from Macho King Randy Savage and his tag team partner, Zeus.
Oh, yeah. We feel at home around these steel cages. And Zeus is the biggest and the strongest and the baddest dude ever to walk the face of this earth. And now we're going wrapped in the steel cage. Zeus, yeah. And Brutus the Barber Beefcake, a secret weapon torpedo one when the Macho King stands on top of the 50-foot-high steel cage. Feel good. And I'm dangerous. We're gonna get it.
That's it. The greatest tag team in sports entertainment history. It's No Holds Barred, Wednesday, December the 27th, and you can see it.
Wow. And we add Mean Gene to that. Oh, my God. These are
I'm having a little bit of fun with him saying that fucking No Holds Barred was like one of the biggest hits of 1989 because I'm bringing up 1989 movies on IMDb here.
Hey.
And we've got like fucking Roadhouse, Major League, we've got fucking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Dead Poet Society, Uncle Buck, Indiana Jones, and Last Crusade.
All right.
Like,
All right. No. There will be no shitting on No Holds Barred. What is that in your pants? Dookie. No, there will be no shitting on No Holds Barred. No, not on this show. Not ever.
My apologies.
All right, you calm your ass. No, you calm.
I had to look.
You calm the fuck down.
As soon as he said it, I had to look.
You calm the fuck down, sir. It was big in our world, okay?
I enjoyed it. I really did. I mean, as a kid, I haven't seen it like as an adult, but I enjoyed it. Harlem Nights. Meh.
That's right. He was in Harlem. That's right. He was. My God, this guy was in. Like I said, man, 200. It is not easy to do. I mean, you know what? Let me do something here. Let me just look up like De Niro. Let me see how many. Huh?
I'm still looking at 1989 movies. Kickboxer. See no evil, hear no evil.
Yeah. All right. Stop.
Stop.
Just stop that shit.
I'm not even. No, hold on. I'm not even trying to shit on the movie. I'm just saying 1989 was fucking.
Okay. Let me just put something in. Robert De Niro, who I consider a great actor. Anyone who's even I don't give a fuck about his political opinions. Means zip zero zilch to me. 124 credits. 124. So it's not easy to get 220 credits in Hollywood when you're pretty much typecast as just the jacked guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I give this guy a lot of fucking credit for the things he's done in the acting business, in the wrestling world, especially in the wrestling world. And just like I said, in the movie business, again, he may not have the biggest role in any movie, but he was the biggest guy in every goddamn movie. I'll tell you that. Definitely one of the biggest guys in every movie. Like I said, I really thought it was the right thing to do, just kind of bring up bring him up for a little bit. But again, we will still be seeing more movies with him. He had a couple of movies in post-production, more than a couple, 5 movies, actually. I'm sorry, 5 movies, and 1 movie completed that will be coming out in 2021. We will still be seeing this guy for a couple more years. So, you know, he's got, actually, let me see here. 2021, he's got a movie called The All-Nighter. They have a movie called The Body Sculptor, which has no release date. Crossed, which is a completed movie, no release date. Hellhole. It says it's post-production, going to come out this year, but we don't know about that. 60 Minutes to Kill, Tempest. We will definitely be seeing Zeus in more movies to come, and that'll be good to still see him floating through the movies as, again, still working his ass off since fucking, what did I say, 1984?
Did you use the term floating on purpose?
Not really. What did I do there? Did I fuck up?
Like a ghost would float?
Oh, I didn't. No, I didn't mean it like that.
I was like, that's a very interesting verb to use there.
I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it like that. He's just gonna be floating through the other movies he's done, man. Like I said, he's not ever gonna have the main role in a movie. He never did. But he was always the guy you remembered, and you're like, damn, Debo's in it. So. There you go. Again, obviously, well, not again, but obviously, you know, definitely condolences to his family. That's family and friends that are thinking about him. And, you know, like I said, mainly people are going to know him from the Friday movies as Debo, but us wrestling fans know him from a lot more than just Friday. And I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing right there. So, I guess we can move on a little bit. I don't know. You got any more to say on that?
Yeah, sure. We can move. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. So, all right. Do we want to get right into wrestling? You want to get into a couple of news stories? What do you want to do here?
I think we could do a little bit more news, I guess, huh?
I've got a few things. You know what? I guess we'll start off with this before we get. You know what? We'll start off with this, then we'll get into the shows. Obviously, Wednesday night we did AEW Dynamite, which was a great show. They had a loaded show, and the ratings proved it. AEW, Smark, 995,000. Now, we've said before there's going to be certain shows we feel they're going to be tickling that million mark and just not get there. So, and we've said that since last year, if you remember. At least I have. I don't know about you, but I have. NXT only did 659,000. AEW was number 2 on all of cable, number 1 in the demo. So Jericho can claim his demo god status still rules. And 0.45 in persons, 18 to 49. So they did very well, AEW, on Wednesday night. Don't really have the, quarter hours again. You want to listen to that, go listen to the Andrew Dice Clay Wannabe. But that's fine. We'll sit here and just let you know what they are. But I don't, wow. What a jump there, though, Smart.
Mm-hmm. And I did see that at one point, one of the segments did have over 1 million people watching. So, I mean, that wasn't the total, grand number.
Oh, yeah.
But they did briefly peak that point at one point during the show.
Yeah,
so, they're doing really good for themselves.
Yeah, and I believe these numbers are averaged out over the course of the show. So, you got to remember that. Always got to remember that. So, $9.95 ain't bad. And again, if I had some quarter, I don't really. Antok's posting them, but I don't know. Not really going to go through them. You know what? I'll go through what hit some millions. Over 1 million was the Darby Allin segment. The Pillman and Pillman Garrison versus FTR match was over 1 million. They held 1 million for a bunch of segments. It's just, it looks like the second hour is what started to drop them a little bit. They held 1 million for the Dustin Rhodes, the Shaq and Brandy thing, and they held 1 million for the Inner Circle thing. Again, they almost had it seeming like Inner Circle was going to break up. So I can see why that drew a lot. But they did hold $1 million for over of these. But again, averaged out, you're looking at 995,000, which, listen, when you take 995, go for 659, again, we're adding Wednesday night viewers. We are, and that's good. And by we, I mean wrestling fans are adding viewers to these shows. Whether they're one-time viewers or what, obviously we don't know that, Smart. But, hey, we're adding viewers every week. Either show is, and that's a good thing, man. More eyes on wrestling is never a bad thing, in my opinion.
Absolutely not. Negative I feel about, and it's not their fault, but this happened over the summer too, where they had that show that did end up breaking $1 million, like cumulatively.
Right.
Only problem is that unfortunately, with their partnership with TNT and then TNT with the NBA, it seems like right when they get to the point where they're like really getting hot, they end up having to get preempted or moved to a different day. So it's like, it's a little bit frustrating when they start building those numbers up and you have to kind of throw a little bit of a monkey wrench, because next week's going to be business as usual, but then the week after that is going to be the Wednesday Dynamite. It's going to be Wednesday Dynamite, but it's going to be after the NBA game. So it's going to be scheduled for 10 o'clock.
Right.
But then who knows exactly when they're going to go on.
Exactly. So just a quick programming note, and I'll make sure we remind you of this guy next week and next Friday. What we'll do on that week is we will do a show that is also Christmas week. So the 23rd is a Wednesday. We'll do NXT that night. We'll talk Raw. We'll talk NXT. And then Friday, obviously, I'm not going to do a show on Christmas Day. I wouldn't do that to any of you guys. I hope you all know that. So we'll do a Wednesday show, and that's going to be it. And we'll just pick up from next week and go from there. And I mean, even that's going to be the 30th. That'll be the New Year's Eve. And we probably won't do a show on New Year's Day either. So you're going to have a couple of Fridays without us. Spare your tears. Spare your tears. I'm sorry. Maybe we'll do a little something during the week, and we'll go ahead and post it. You guys won't have to. We're not going to take your time live to do this. At least we'll talk about it, me and Smark, and we'll go from there. But at least you guys know that we will only be doing one show. We have a full, definitely 2 shows next week, and then we'll do one show. But shit, we need some time off to party too, man. You know, come on.
Right.
Absolutely. Speaking of partying, we're taking shot time. I have a shot here.
Huzzah.
Yes, I do.
I do enjoy how last time we had talked on Wednesday, you said you were trying to kind of wane that in a little bit.
Well, and then I did
I only laugh because I've been there 1,000,000 times and will be there 1,000,000 times more.
I did a few more deliveries than I expected to this week. Got a few more in today. They paid me for all of them, so we had a little extra money this week. And
nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, I looked at the wife, and she was like, "Can we get liquor?" I'm like, "Yeah, what the hell?" So anyway, you know what? How about this? Shot for Zeus. Zeus, rest in peace, sir. And we'll see you in more movies coming up. Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, down it goes. But yeah, definitely a great rating for NXT right there. Annihilating NXT. And again, they had a loaded show, man. They had Sting. They had Shaq. And they had some great matches. And they had the Inner Circle thing. There was a lot going on that show that piqued interest. And the ratings show it. So
everybody's clamoring for that Shaquille O'Neal Brandy Rose match.
And you know, as bad as we thought Shaquille O'Neal was, I saw a lot of praise for Shaq online, and I'm like, did y'all really think he was that good in this segment? He was kind of bland and monotone. But I guess I'm wrong for thinking that.
Well, that was my frustration, I think, was that it wasn't so much that I don't like Shaq. It's that I know what Shaq can be, and I know his personality, and he didn't really get a chance to show it as much as he normally does, and just anything else that he does. I mean, he fucking makes talking to a fucking green screen CGI guy and fucking dress.
Yeah,
There's those general commercials, and he makes those look good. And he's in front of his green screen talking to a fucking tennis ball.
I do get the general. The general is big down here in Texas, so I do get the general commercials.
For sure.
I do. But I've seen him on what was that show? Shark Tank? Not Shark Tank. What was the show with the guys that built the fish tanks?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Someone in the chat will do it. It's the two guys. They were on that thing. They built the big fish tanks.
Is it on like the DIY work?
Yeah,
like
DIY or a TLC or one of those networks. I think they have the name Shark in it, don't they? Don't they? No? I'm probably wrong. Anyway, he was on an episode of that, and he was very charismatic on that. Grown Ups. Watch Shaq on the movie Grown Ups. Hilarious. Absolutely fucking hilarious. And we get, you should take some pointers from Jade. That'd be good for you while your arm's in a sling. And everyone's like, that was great. And it's like, okay, I get you're a Shaq fan. Maybe we should back off a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, Smart.
It happens.
And I'll be wrong again. But yes, the wife did go get us some vodka at Costco again. Costco gives us a couple of 2 bottles for $30, and they're big bottles. We got enough for the week.
Nice.
It'll end up being the weekend. We go through one of those the handles, I believe they call them, the big giant like 1.75 bottles.
Mm-hmm.
We can do it in 2 nights.
Same.
While by yourself?
Unfortunately.
Okay, this is 2 people while watching children. But you know what, though? Neither one of them. Well, we all do. No, it's funny. Yep. Anthony was saying, you're the loose cannon. I'm more the loose cannon than you are. No one knows how many shots I'm going to do in a fucking night. But I'm more of a loose cannon than you are.
I kind of like how it's like that's being described as like a fucking cop TV show terms to describe us.
Well,
you've got one more day before retirement. I'm the loose cannon.
Oh, you know me. That's kind of how I roll. But, and speaking of the wife and shots, look who comes in with a shot. My wife. There, see, it's almost 10 o'clock, she says. Thank you, babe. Cheers. One more.
That beats the hell out of a cuckoo clock, I'll tell you that much.
She's way better than a cuckoo clock. No cuckoo clock I've ever met has delivered shots to me. Oh. All right. God, is she a keeper? Whew. Eat your heart out, people. But anyway, you know what? Speaking of my wife, she got me the and you know what? I'll bring this up real quick. The Battleground game. As kind of she did Christmas with her dad,
mm-hmm.
And she said, "Well, since I did that, you can open one." So I opened one, and one of them was the Battleground game, the WWE Battleground game. The fact that Baron Corbin is the first person you beat up made me smile so much. I liked that part in the one-on-one. Good game, though. Now, Smart, I lost Smart right there. I will get him back in a minute. But I got to admit, I like the game. I think it's actually... Smart, you there? Smart? Smart, I heard you breathing, so I know you were there. But I really am enjoying so far that Battleground game. The graphics are good, I think. I hear you now, Smart. You there? Smart. All right. Anyway, graphics are decent on the game. They're pretty simple when they go through their the tutorial. I have a hard time saying that word, but I don't know. It's just, I really enjoyed the game. I'm glad she got it for me. I kind of told her I wanted it, so she grabbed it for me. Wanted to see what it was like, how good it was. It looked like a fun game, and it was. So, smart.
I enjoy it.
You said you had the Battleground game. I'm glad I got you back. You said you had the Battleground game. Like I said, Baron Corbin's the first person you beat the shit out of, which obviously gave me a big smile on my face. Sorry, Sacha Baron Corbin, but it is. But the game overall, I recommend it. I say if you're looking for a fucking Christmas present and you haven't gotten a WWE 2K game in a while, this is one to get. It's fun, a little bit of a button mashing game, but fun either way. Good, Smart. Smart.
I'm in at a good time too, though.
Go ahead,
Yes?
man. Go ahead. Talk about the game real quick.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Come on, man. Talk. All right, I don't think Smart can hear me. For
I
some...
think it came in at a good time because, like, right around where they put out basically a DLC, I guess it was. It has a whole bunch of other characters that they didn't have when they launched the game.
Yeah.
So now there's a lot of people. I don't know if it ended up updating for you because you just got it, but they have Batista. He wasn't in there at first. They got him now. I'm trying to think of other ones like the Usos.
Well, I did get a 3 gig update as soon as I put the game in the goddamn system.
Yeah, that'll do it then. That's what that was.
Yeah, I got a 6 gig update for the PlayStation, and then I got a 3 gig update for the game, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's just going up and up. But like I said, the game, I liked it. It was fun. I only played 3 or 4 matches. I lost. I did lose the match against Samoa Joe the first time, but it was Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe. I'm all right losing against him, but it is a fun game, actually. So, like I said, man, if you haven't bought a 2K game in a while and you're kind of wondering if you looking for a WWE game or a wrestling game, Battlegrounds is definitely one to go ahead and get. I got the wife changing the baby back behind me, so apologize for the background noise.
And the more you play it too, the more you can kind of find out ways to cheat. So that's always fun.
Really?
There's certain little things you can do. Like I sometimes like to try to shoot for count out victories.
Which we will get into later. Nice count out victories. But yeah, I would say go ahead and get that game. I had a good time at it. I'm gonna keep playing it. I'll see what characters. I'll keep you guys going on it. What I think of it as I go and keep playing it. But did want to bring that up just for the hell of it. My baby doesn't like the game, obviously.
Yeah, I figured you would like it because you with having kids and everything. That's a fun thing to do with the kids. Because it's definitely it's great if you have somebody that also has it because it's definitely a lot of fun multiplayer wise.
Yeah,
I play just solo, but there's definitely I definitely think the appeal would come from multiplayer with that.
My older one will play it with me until I beat him, and then he'll get pissed. My younger one will play it with. We'll probably play. I'll see what happens this weekend. I tried it last night at 11 o'clock. I got drinking beer last night, and next thing you know, it was 1 o'clock, and I'm stripping line from my fishing rods because I couldn't sleep. So anyway, 9 beers later, I finally fell asleep. You think you have a problem? Anyway, hey, leave me alone. And on that note, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get it. Since we did that, let's go ahead and get into SmackDown. Since we just did that little ratings comparison plus the game thing, we'll go ahead and get into SmackDown. We got a little more news after that. This shouldn't be the longest show at all because I don't have a ton of news, but I do have some things to get into as we go, and we'll do that. Let's go ahead and start with NXT. This was the War Games Fallout, Smark.
That's right.
That's right. Sure as hell was. Balor in the ring to kick off the show. Were you the only one, or was I the only one, I'm sorry, that found that camera shot they were doing of him a little weird. Were they trying to make him look tall?
Maybe.
Seriously, because the camera shot was from. It looked like like the cameraman was laying down. All right.
I would love for them to accidentally cut to an angle that showed that.
I would too, but that's almost what it seemed like. It seemed like the cameraman was laying down in the ring and taking a shot of him, and I gotta say, he looked like a tall motherfucker in that. But it was just, I don't know. Maybe he was trying to feel tall. What do they call that? Napoleon syndrome, right? Right, Smart?
Napoleon complex.
Napoleon complex. There you go. So maybe he had a little bit of that. Finn was just about to get deep into his promo as Dunn interrupts. Then Kyle O'Reilly comes out. Then Damian Priest comes out. Dunn. You got all these guys out there from a couple of different factions also, Smart. Does this seem like a clusterfuck match in the making?
A little bit. I mean, they do this from time to time, that on NXT especially, where they just like, there's no clear-cut challenger, so they just bring out a bunch of people, and then it's like, all right, well, you guys like that segment, did we? But then it becomes, all right, we'll do a multi-man match, and then, just kind of killing time as they begin to set up the actual next title feud, whatever that might be.
Yeah, and I get that every guy had a reason to be out there. Pete Dunne had his reasons. Kyle O'Reilly was the one that broke his jaw. Priest is the bigger guy that's kind of going for the title right now. So I get it, but you get Dunn, Priest, and O'Reilly bickering at one point, and then Finn walks out of the ring and he's like, "I'll defend the title at New Year's Evil," which I like that name. And then Scarlett comes out, looking, Jesus, looking.
Indeed, looking, Jesus. Basically like some sort of a like BDSM Pinhead meets Lady Gaga meets the Road Warriors outfit.
Whatever she was, she just looked absolutely great coming out there.
Leather and spikes and cheeks.
Oh yeah, I did like the thing that oh my God, Damian Priest. I did like Damian Priest coming out and being like, "Hey, Smoke Show."
I wonder if it was inadvertent or on purpose, because that was the nickname she went by when she was on Impact.
Yeah, I got that, and I think that's kind of where they were going with that. I mean, let's face it, the girl's a goddamn smoke show and a half. I sometimes wonder if like that ever becomes where it's just like kind of a little bit annoying for her, because basically her gimmick on Impact was just like, everybody wants to fuck you. That's your gimmick. Go out there and have fun with it. Like, can I be a librarian too or something? Like, I'm sorry, man, but when you look like that, you either use it or you despise it.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses it.
Sure.
And I cannot fault her for that. She should be using it. She knows how to use it. She's a sexy girl, and she knows it. And she's got a great body. She's hot. Scarlett is hot.
Indeed.
So she came out. Obviously, this is foreshadowing to the Karrion Kross, return that we're going to talk about in a little while. But and again, we got New Year's Evil coming up, which is when is that? I forgot when that is.
The 6th.
The 6th. There you go. But I gotta say, I like the name. Definitely, I would say this is a Triple H name.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that this is a Triple H name right here.
It sounds kind of like a rejected song title for a Metallica or like a AC. It would be right up his alley.
Oh, this is definitely a song that he'll probably tell you how it was a song that Lemmy was writing this before he died, and I'm going to use it as a name. I could see something like that, but good segment. You know, I got to tell you, NXT wasn't a bad show, but compared to AEW, was definitely a subpar show.
Right.
You know, AEW had a loaded show, and if they keep doing this, and again, you got to remember, AEW is still. I know they've lost a little bit of that new car smell to them, but some of it's still there for some people. And when they bring someone in big, it's gonna be a huge rating like that for them, because everyone wants to see what they're going to do with them. And, you know, Sting didn't really give away that much on Wednesday, but it still popped, you know, as Antox posted in the chat room, it still popped viewers, definitely. So, you know, you can't fault the guys for what they're doing, but NXT definitely not a bad show, just obviously not the better show. After that, we had Killian Dane attacking Pete Dunne backstage for smashing his face in a door a few weeks ago. Like that little segment. You know, we always say WWE has this problem with continuity, and I'm glad they kept this going.
Right.
So, and I know this is NXT. NXT doesn't have that issue as much as WWE does, but glad they kept this going, and we'll get into that a little more. Now, we get into the go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'm going to double back a little bit just because we were talking about both of the segments concurrently. And everybody in the ring together, they started, you know, swapping out their little insults and whatnot, and it made me laugh because O'Reilly, so he just waited until Dunn started talking and then just started making fun of his shitty accent. Yeah,
it does turn into a high school bickering fest at one point, that little segment, which
because he stops talking and then Dunn starts going, and then I'll see Riley go. I
mean, that's kind of like God, I hate to say this. It's kind of like making fun of a retarded accent when someone talks to you, like, you know what I mean? Like someone, yeah, I don't know. I know it sounded bad, but that's kind of what it's like. And it just sounded childish. It came off as a childish little thing, but
what it always reminds me of is like when you're telling a story there and they pissed you off, like mainly like in like relationships, it's like, well, I think that the best solution is this, and then they said blah, 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 blah. Like they did not just start making a bunch of rambling, mumbling noises.
No, but they did. Anyway, after all that shit, Jake Atlas versus Isaiah Swerve Scott was the pretty much first match. Well, it was the first match to kick off. Now, Smark, I don't know if you noticed this, but I did. The NXT, you know, finger quote, crowd, dude, they gave the beginning of this match no fucking heat. They weren't making a noise. They should have been sitting on their fucking hands. Did you catch that? For like literally the first probably, I would say 3 to 4 minutes of this match.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. It was very kind of quiet. I was kind of surprised by how uneventful the match was just in general, which is, I find to be surprising because I like both of the people that were involved, especially Swerve Scott. He's really entertaining. But
you're right. You got a lot of athleticism in that. Yeah, you got a lot of athleticism in that ring. You got two guys who can go out there and fucking get it done. And in the beginning of the match, watch back. The crowd was fucking dead. And again, I crowd in air quotes. But they were dead. Make some fucking noise. Do something. Make Jake Atlas, go out there and feel like he's a fucking man and kill this shit. But I don't know, man. It was horrible, in my opinion. It did end up being a good match, and they did start getting into it, but the beginning of the match took me out of it. I gotta be honest. They may as well have been in the fucking in the Thunderdome with no fucking, no PC guys out there.
Right.
Yeah, it was just, even Jake Atlas getting the win wasn't really a big thing to them. Isaiah Scott did refuse to shake Jake Atlas's hand after the match. Do we take that as a heel turn for Swerve, Smart?
I mean, that's what Antox is asking about. Are they seriously going to turn Swerve heel? I wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, they got to do something with him. Just having him just be a generic baby face is not him, and it's not who he is. And they already have sort of a run of quote-unquote cool guy heel, or not cool guy heels, but cool guy faces. Because it seems like that's what they want Priest to be. They want Priest to be the, Fonzie type character in terms of being a face. So you let Swerve be kind of himself, variety, and let him go.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, obviously we're only gonna see what happens in the thing, but I figured I'd see if you thought it was a heel turn. I'm not so sure it is, but
it might not be. I mean, there are some, especially with NXT, certain people just act in ways that, like, it might seem heelish one week, but then next week they're clearly the face. Like, for the longest time, we had a hard time figuring out what Balor was supposed to be.
Well, I'm still having a hard time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I guess we get Ciampa cutting a promo on Cameron Grimes. Not much to say about that. Again, Ciampa cuts great promos, and I like that he does them all in the same spot. Mm-hmm. He's always right there by that garage door, sitting on the ATA case, they call them, just doing a promo. So I always like that. Now, we get the Imperium versus Grizzled Young Veterans versus Ever-Rise match, Mark.
That's right.
What did you think of this match?
I thought it was interesting. I probably my favorite part was just like the majority of the match. Ever-Rise was just like hiding behind the steel ring steps, trying to decide what the best moment to come on in was.
Which I really felt kind of brought out it's like they want to be more Young Bucks-ish.
Kind of.
Everyone says they're kind of like the older Young Bucks, which the Young Bucks are older now, so I don't know what you would call the older Young Bucks, the older Bucks. I don't know.
Middle-aged Bucks?
There you go, middle-aged Bucks. But this sort of made me get the Young Bucks vibe even more out of this group, which I'm not sure is a good thing. What do you think?
That it's interesting, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they were going for. I didn't necessarily pick it up that way because I'm just used to them, and that's how they act sometimes. Like, that was definitely in character with how I've seen them perform as heels. So, like, it kind of just all made sense to me. But I had never really thought about it, and apparently, like, the Robert Stone character is supposed to be sort of a shot at, allegedly.
At who you cut out?
The Robert Stone character is allegedly supposed to be a shot at Tony Khan. It's supposed to be like a Tony Khan kind of parody.
Oh.
And I hadn't picked up on that before, but apparently that's the theory.
Oh, is that the theory? Okay. Great. So we're going to have two companies just doing stupid. I don't get the reference.
Yeah.
Great. But I do got to say, the match was fucking great. A great, fast-paced match between these guys. Grizzled Young Veterans did get the win in this match. I liked the match. I just thought Ever-Rise came off very Young Buckish.
Mm.
And like I said, I know everyone compares them to them anyway, but they really just kind of solidified the rumors, if you will. All the comparisons, they just kind of solidified him right there to me. And I've never really, I always said I don't really see him as a Young Bucks. They're older, they're this or that. But after this match, I'm wrong.
Well, they wrestle a lot differently. I'll say that much.
Yeah, they do. But really, when you come back to it, they're kind of the same guys. So, I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on. Toni Storm, backstage interview. Io Shirai interrupts. Toni Storm attacks her. They end up in the ring. But Ember Moon attacks Storm. And all I'm saying is that was a booty and a half segment. But then we get Grimes versus Ciampa, the actual match. A few minutes into the match, though, Thatcher comes down with a chair, Smart.
That's right.
And just watches the match. just watches the match. No big deal. Now, Ciampa does win this match, which I pretty much expected him to. Thatcher's just sitting there in the chair, and Ciampa rolls out of the ring. We get a stare down between them. And obviously, this feud continues.
Right.
And I still see people confused by why this feud is happening. Do you not understand? Does no one understand he was saying there's a bunch of fake tough guys out there. He's calling Thatcher a fake tough guy. No one get that?
Right.
Is it just me? Am I that drunk that I get that? No?
And it seems like they're also, I don't know if they're completely deviating from it or not, or if they're just adding the extra element, but it also seems like Grimes is going to be getting involved in this feud, so that'll be interesting.
Again, I'm not the biggest Grimes fan. He's growing on me. He is. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it does seem he's getting very, very involved in this feud. He was yelling at Thatcher, and then Thatcher kind of flipped him by the leg and took him down. So I definitely, obviously, we're going to get a Thatcher, Grimes, Ciampa triple threat.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
yeah,
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
And what I really liked about it was just the whole idea of he gave him the opportunity to just fuck off, because Grimes starts. Thatcher and Ciampa had their little stare down. Ciampa goes up the ramp. Grimes is irate that Ciampa came in. But that Thatcher came in and sat down and disrupted his match. So he's yelling at him, and Thatcher just kind of turns away, and then Grimes spins him around and continues to yell at him. How dare you interrupt? How dare you disrupt a Cameron Grimes match? And he just starts beating the shit out of him. I just love the idea that he's just so fucking up his own ass that he got the opportunity to not get his ass whooped, and he's just refused to take it.
Yeah, exactly, man. He just he just didn't give a fuck after that point. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where this whole thing goes. Definitely. Go ahead.
A lot of offense in that match too.
Yeah,
they set it up to make him look like he was Ciampa's kind of almost equal.
Yeah, I almost figured this was gonna be not a squash, but I figured it would be a quick match. When a commercial popped up, I was like, holy shit, I didn't think this would go to commercial. But it did. So they definitely got some plans for Grimes and Ciampa and obviously Thatcher. Like I said, triple threat definitely in the making. Raquel Gonzalez comes out with a decent promo. Again, I saw a lot of people saying her promo was shitty. Did you think her promo was shitty, Smart?
No, there was nothing that I could really latch onto and say, oh, that part was fucking terrible. It was decent. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't great, but then it also wasn't, oh God, please stop talking.
Yeah, it was run-of-the-mill promo, needs work, will get better. I mean, she's in NXT. She's not on the main roster, so, I all right. Just, again, I'm kind of going by what I saw on social media. Now, Smart, the fuck is this Xia Li shit?
It's different. I'll give them credit for that.
Is this a kickboxer movie. Should I call Sasha Mitchell and see if he's available? I don't know.
It's very weird. It was very. They've been doing it for the last couple weeks now. They did it on that Thanksgiving Eve. Confusing. They're basically like waterboarding. It's very fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with this, but I guess we'll see. We'll just let it go. Now, this was a strange segment, I gotta say. Gargano, Candice LeRae, Austin Theory, Indy Hartwell all come out. Hartwell's in a neck brace from the match, the War Games match. Again, this is the Fallout. They come out for a celebration. Smart.
Good point.
Well, I haven't said a point yet. Do Theory and Gargano's tight pants bother you as much as they bother me?
I actually did not notice, so I feel like you got the answer there.
Okay, well, we'll just pass that then. They bring in this trophy. It's eventually they reveal it. It's got Shotzi's doll head on it. Now, did they just decide to make Theory a complete idiot?
I feel like they're trying to make him. I mean, no shit, huh? But I feel like they're trying to make him into like the next Gargano. So like they're like starting him at the very entry level, like he's puppy Gargano, who regular Gargano is training to be Gargano-y.
I don't know. Every reference they made, he just got it wrong. It's just like they're making him.
He's training. He's a student. He's a pupil.
He's an idiot.
And plus, I mean, he never really fucking talked anyway, so it's not like we didn't know that he wasn't stupid.
No, but he bounced his pecs. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. It just feels like they're making him an idiot. But I was like happy when Priest came down to tell Austin Theory he's going to shove the pipe up his ass.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, thank God. And then I don't know why, but I was actually happy when Priest got attacked by Karrion Kross.
Do you think it was a little bit of overkill?
Not really. I mean, you got to remember in that first little promo with when Priest called Scarlett the smoke show, he said, "Why doesn't do you sit in the car?" You got to remember that. Do you sit in the car while your man comes out and has you do his business? And then you get Kross coming in and going back to the car with Scarlett sitting in it.
Right. Yeah, I got that part of it, but I mean, what I was kind of just wondering is if it would have been better off, and I don't know, maybe they just don't have enough time for them to do all that, but that seems like something you would do like next week, because you've already symbolized that he's back by having Scarlett come out there.
Yeah, but they again,
a
dude,
couple of segments later.
Again, man, look at the loaded show they were going up against.
True.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, but AEW announced, I would say 75% of what they had coming up already the week before. So I would think WWE is throwing everything, every bit of shit they have at the wall to see if it'll stick.
Could be.
I may be wrong, but I think that's what they were doing here. It didn't, obviously. I mean, I guess it stuck a little bit, but I don't know. I definitely like what they're doing here. I'm glad Karrion Kross is back. I'm definitely glad Scarlett is back. But we'll see what he can do. Hopefully, good God. You know what? If this guy gets injured again, the label that's going to put on him. So let's just hope Karrion Kross comes back, has a long run without getting injured, and we'll just have to see where it goes from here. But I am interested in seeing Kross versus Priest. All the other stuff that they kind of had before this is just kind of gobbledygook. to leading to Cross versus Priest, in my opinion.
Right. Oh yeah, it's definitely what they're trying to set up with that.
Yeah. Now after Smark, after that, Tyler Rust. Did you see him?
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss something?
Yeah, I think he got involved in the Ciampa match.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Why did I miss that? Did I get up?
Yeah, he definitely got involved in the Ciampa match because it was very brief. He got on the apron before he could get in the ring. Ciampa put him out.
I must have got up or something and missed that. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. So I missed that. Anyway, Tyler Rust. Look for more things from him. I guess because they didn't really get into much of that. Killian Dane though is back. Like we said before, it was Killian Dane versus Pete Dunne. The match was going, and then Birch and Lorcan came out to interfere. Drake Maverick stops him, but of course gets distracted, which happens in every match. We figured this out by now, right? I think we have. We're smart enough. And then, like I said, he looks all proud, and then he gets hit from behind, which allows Dunn to get the win. Smark, why is Dunn yellow?
It's a good question. I think because he's not technically a human. He's more of a Muppet. So Muppets can kind of be any color that they wish.
Because he's not orange. He's not doing the old, I feel like he's doing the, the Hogan tanning bed, but he's yellow. He has a weird color to him.
Well, yeah, I mean, you put fucking the fake tan, the bronzer, or whatever it is, on somebody who is just, as we've talked about, very, very, very British. So presumably, well, not presumably, he is a very pale person normally, and you mix those together and you get some kind of color that doesn't exist in the human rainbow.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was a good match. Again, Dunn gets the win. Now, Smart, I got to ask you something. After the match, they show Killian Dane. He hawks a loogie in the ring. I got to ask you something. What's your thoughts on spitting in the ring? Ooh, I got silence on that one. Oh, because I lost Smark. I ask him a question, and I lose Smark. Are you fucking serious? I guess so.
Might be here. We'll see it from here.
Oh, there you go. Smark is back. Now, Smark, once again, what's your thoughts on spitting in the ring?
Yes, I'll try to hurry up and get through this. I mean, it depends on whether or not the person that you're like spitting on or at is okay with it. I'm not as averse to. It's gross, but I'm not as adverse to spit as like a lot of other people might be. It's not, but at a time like this, though, it's not great. I will say that, like, just for everything.
But
maybe you limit the amount of fluid that you're exchanging with people or in public places.
Yeah, and again, nothing. Let's take COVID out of it. Just spitting in the ring always, to me, has been gross. I don't like it. You're literally spitting in the ring for another guy to come in there and step on it and maybe get thrown in it. And yuck.
I mean, sure it is. It is gross, but I mean, that's why those people get, the fucking cauliflower ears and shit. And all the fucking elbow problems and whatnot. Like, just wrestling mats as a whole are very gross places because you got, like, fucking sometimes spit, but sweat and blood and, like, just all kinds of other shit. It can be, it's a fucking breeding ground for bacteria as it is.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm glad our chat room is agreeing with me that it's just fucking gross. It really is. And like I said, I've thought that as a kid. Even as a kid, I would see someone spit in the ring and I'd be like, what the fucking, what are you doing? And then you see people get in there barefoot. Again, back when I was a kid, you'd see the Von Erichs getting there, and I'm like, dude, there's spit. Loogies. Listen, we Riddle gets in there, no shoes. He's walking on spit, dude.
Yeah.
That's nasty. That's nasty. I don't know.
It is.
And again, I mean, hey, we got COVID going on, brother. But again, take that out of it. Take that out of it. It's still nasty to me. I don't know. I just thought I'd get your quick ideas on spitting in the ring while we didn't have a,
And that's become more and more of a thing lately, especially like on the independent scene and stuff, with just like people spitting at each other, or like like Sammy Callahan does that a lot.
I gotta say, body fluids just. I mean, you spit on me, I'm not gonna be a happy person. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Sure, yeah.
And I carry a gun. Back the fuck off me. Just do not spit on me is all I'm saying.
Made the old pistol spit back at him.
Yeah, and I upgraded from a fucking 9mm to a 40 caliber. You may not want to spit on me.
There you have it.
Although, again, I've said before, I'd much rather fight it out with you than shoot you. So, matter of fact, I'd be happy to. I'd smile fighting it out with you instead of shooting you. But anyway, main event of the show was Raquel Gonzalez versus Ember Moon. Raquel basically ragdolled Ember Moon in the beginning of this match. Now, again, Mark, I know Raquel is kind of newer in this company. I don't know a shitload about her, but I got to say, man, she's definitely someone in this company I feel is going to be up there when she makes it to the main roster.
I agree with that. They're definitely pushing her as such. She sort of has the intangibles. She has the height. She has the strength, the build. And I mean, from what I've seen from her, like, not the best worker, but like also compared to they push as those big strong hosses, especially in the women's division, about 1,000,000 times better than Nia Jax.
Now here's my possible why they may not push her.
Why is that?
She's not blonde hair, blue eyes with giant tits.
I was going to say because her name's Gonzalez, so I think we're basically parallel here.
No, I have no issue with the name.
I'm just saying though, like compared to how they've been using like fucking Garza and Almas and all this shit.
Yeah, I really feel that the fact that she's not blonde hair, blue eyed with giant fucking Charlotte tits may end up and I hate to sound like a sexist guy, but I also hate to say it. WWE thinks the same way I do.
Yes and no. Like, it's hard for me to argue this right now when the two people that are challenged for, like, titles, women's titles, are Carmella and Lana. Like, I really don't have ground to stand on right now. I'm going to cede this argument.
It's hard to say WWE. I mean, listen, again, I don't want to sound sexist. I don't want to sound misogynist. But when it comes down to it, WWE has these thoughts in their mind. They love the blonde hair. They love the blue eyes. They love the giant tits. And unfortunately, Raquel Gonzalez is incredibly talented. She is great in the ring. I thought her promo earlier was great. Not bad. But just remember, she's not this giant tit hot girl. And I think that might eventually, in the end, not be good for her. I don't know. I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I sincerely hope I'm wrong on this. But we'll see. I like it, and I really like when we get Rhea Ripley out there, and her and Rhea Ripley are going at it. It fits. It's two, again, big girls, and I mean big girls as a compliment to those two girls. They are fucking, basically just two bodybuilders that are out there, going at it. But I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. Smark, you back? All right. I don't know. Oh, there we go. There's Smark. Get him back real quick. And we got Smark back. You good? All right, we can't hear Smark yet, but again, this match though, I really liked, and I really liked once Rhea came out, kind of saved, Ember Moon. Smark, you there?
All right, I think so.
All right, you are back. I really liked the Rhea coming out and the stare down between the two of them, dragging out Ember Moon, and we get the little stare down between Rhea Ripley and Gonzalez to end the show with a boner. No, I mean the NXT.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it before. This is like kind of the feud that they want. Like they've competed before, obviously, singles competition and whatnot, but they want this to be sort of the on-running, long-standing feud.
Right.
To, as they say, Titans. So it's like, they weren't. I'm not opposed to giving them some more matches together.
No, I actually want to see more of these two in the ring, showing what they can do, man. So I guess we'll see. As time goes on what happens, but NXT just AEW just fucking killed them in the ratings. But again, that doesn't mean NXT was a bad show. It just means more people wanted to watch AEW live than NXT. Again, man, with DVR and Hulu and the network, it's not. I almost feel the ratings aren't as bad as we think they are with all those out there. You know what I mean? There's ways to watch NXT after Wednesday. There's not as many ways to watch AEW after, unless you're downloading torrents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when, NXT still has the people that are going to do it on DVR, which they will. The network's going to load it. Hulu's going to load it. So just those little Wednesday night ratings, I wouldn't say they're as, set in stone as we think they are.
I think NXT's biggest problem, in my opinion, is that it's a matter of it becomes a cycle where it's like, okay, NXT is, no matter what, even if they want to say that it's the third brand and they're on equal footing, yada 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 yada, it's still a feeder system. They're still going to use people from NXT to be on Raw and to be on SmackDown, and but the problem with that becomes, probably talk about later, when people get called up from NXT, they don't end up doing much usually, barring a couple of exceptions.
Well,
and then they don't use them, so the intrigue to follow them when they do get called up isn't there. But then also, when people are in NXT, you're constantly worried about them getting called up and them getting misused, so you almost don't want to bother getting involved with any of that.
Yeah, and I mean, let's face it, when you've got your, like you just called it, your feeder system going up against Sting, who's been around since the 80s, it's hard to pop a rating.
Sure.
So, I get it, but I don't know. Again, more shit. NXT, again, not a bad show at all. Just, I believe when it comes to going up against what you're getting on AEW, is a bit inferior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And again, when, you know, again, you just said it, dude. It's their feeder system.
Usually NXT only wins when it's a scenario that there's some sort of a gimmick like event going on.
Right.
So I guess I'm like the only thing you
and smart cut out on us. All right.
themed shows and things like that, and then that becomes a matter of becoming too much after a while.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's just something you can't. I don't know. Again, when you've got your feeder system trying to compete with a show with, like, you know, Sting and Cody Rhodes and Arn Anderson and Jericho, it's not going to compete. It's not going to compete. I'm sorry. And again, AEW had a great show this week. We'll see what they do next week. Again, smart, like you've said, and a lot of people say the next week is really what kind of shows the ratings from the week before.
Mm-hmm.
So, but AEW, once again, already has announced most of their matches for next week. And what does NXT have for next week?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you anything, but I can tell you just without even looking that they did announce that they're going to have Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela next week.
Right. Exactly. May not be the greatest match in the world, but you know what's going to happen. So you're going to be like, you know, already people are going, okay, I want to watch that match. I don't want to watch that match. You've already got your mind made up whether you're watching or you're not watching.
Right.
And NXT's got what lined up for next week? Exactly. So, I don't know, man. I mean, they really got to start maybe announcing things, planning things. I don't know if maybe their writers don't have anything planned, which I hate to say, that's kind of what it feels like. They're just planning these shows on the whim, trying to go up against. Are they waiting for AEW to announce their shows? Well, AEW is announcing their shows early, so you should be able to counter that. But I don't know. We'll have to see as time goes on.
I totally agree with that. And I feel like if they got into a position where it became every week, I feel like it would help them in the sense that they would actually have to think ahead more often than they normally do.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, God forbid they, write some storylines that'll last more than, 6 weeks. So, I don't know.
Right.
As we go, we will see. I guess we can get into SmackDown from there. If you want.
Let's.
Or do you want to do a little bit of news?
Either or. It's all good either way.
Let's get SmackDown out of the way. I don't have a shitload of SmackDown notes, so literally I don't have a lot at all. What did you think of this Sasha contract signing with Adam Pearce out there? Of course, I do got to say I'm glad they're letting Adam Pearce do these contract signings. Cole just isn't right for him, and Lawler coming out there just always causes controversy.
He creeps me out.
So Pierce coming out and doing these is kind of like the just saving grace. It's a good idea. He's got no bad shit behind him. Good idea. So I like Pierce coming out. We get a contract signing with Adam Pearce. What do you think about this whole thing, Smart?
I mean, kind of similar to how I felt about last week. Not as bad. I thought last week's segment was bad. But, like, the way that their characters are, they're kind of the same character. So it's just like, one's supposed to be a face, one's supposed to be a heel, but they're both, like, kind of egotistical and, like, borderline obnoxious. So it's like there's not a lot of likability. There's not a lot to root for on either side.
Well, Sasha didn't sound like she inhaled helium, and Carmella did.
That is very true.
Which annoyed the fuck out of me with her fucking voice. Corey Graves, I'm just gonna say now, I feel bad for you, brother. But anyway, let's move on from there. This whole thing set up Carmella versus Sasha for the title. I believe immediately we all knew this was going to end at a fuck finish, some sort of no finish, DQ or whatever.
Now, did I imagine things? Because I feel like I had to have. But did I imagine things, or was this supposed to be a cage match?
Nah. Did you start drinking before the show?
I don't know what the fuck happened. I could have swore that they said it was going to be a cage match, and I could have swore that they were putting up like graphics that said as much.
I don't know where you got that from.
Okay, well, I mean, it's been a long day, I'll say that, but I haven't been drinking, but I haven't been entirely focused either, so there you go.
Huh, maybe I need a shot. Chat room, do you remember a cage match, or is Smart drunker than me, which doesn't usually happen? Well, sometimes. Anyway.
According to Antox.
Yeah, Antox. Antox will let us know. I'll give it a minute. Kayla's backstage with the Street Profits. They're talking about the Montez match with Ziggler, which is up next. Montez Ford talking about making it rain Solo Cups. And he does. And he blue Solo Cups, Mark.
If you're Montez Ford, do you feel like you got slighted a little bit? Because let's follow the trajectory here. Like, okay, Undertaker can shoot lightning, Kane can shoot fire, like Bray Wyatt can time somehow, can like open up portals to the past. And then if you're Montez Ford, like your magical power is that you could just make Solo Cups appear out of nowhere.
Well, listen. Everyone who has a magic power has to embrace it.
Well, he can also jump 93 feet in the air to do a standing moonsault. So there's that.
That's a magic power too. And by the way, his drop kick is fucking a thing of fucking poetry.
Standing moonsault in the match, and it was like the fucking highest I've ever seen anybody get on just a standing on the mat into a moonsault that I've ever seen. It was just crazy. It looked like he was from the top rope.
Dude, like, Ford is unbelievable when it comes to agility and stuff like that. But I mean, just absolutely amazing. But I don't know. Just I just they're taking they're taking this, tag team titles, and they're kind of just making them fools.
Always.
Why? Why?
I mean, always. That's always what happens. They make you had, they weren't tag team champions at the time, but you have Almas and Big Show, not Almas and Big Show, Almas and Andrade losing to the Big Show while they're about to be challenging for the tag team title. Where they have, the two guys that are feuding and don't like each other, you put them in a match against the established tag team, usually for the tag team titles, and the two people that don't even like each other beat the team that's been teamed together for X amount of years and has good enough chemistry to win the world, tag team championships. So they don't value tag team. That's why we were talking about Omega being lost in the shuffle, because he was in a tag team. We're conditioned to think that tag team wrestling is a lesser form of professional wrestling because of what the WWE does.
Yeah, which is sad because I'm a huge tag team fan. I really am. I really like tag team wrestling. I mean, I've praised the Rock and Roll Express 1,000 times in this show, or maybe more. If I've done it more than 1,000, I apologize. Road Warriors. Huge fan of the Road Warriors. And, you got Montez Ford out there who, no, he's not a jacked up guy like the Road Warriors. Not at all. But when you really look at him, and he's out there, and he's performing, bro, he's got some Morton in him. He's got that drop kick. He's got the fucking ups. He's definitely amazing when it comes in the ring. But I just feel like they're making with these guys, with Montez and what's the other guy's name?
Dawkins.
They're almost just trying to make them like the tag titles are a joke. And I'm not happy about it. I've never been happy when they try to make the tag titles a joke.
Which is, I mean, it's an interesting pivot, too, because we're only a couple weeks removed from that big feud they had with the New Day.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I mean, look what they've done with the New Day. We'll get into that in a few minutes here. Actually, you know what? Let's get into it right now. You speak of the New Day, and we get Big E. Sammy and Big E are having a little feud. And, you know, that they do a little backstage segment there with Sammy complaining about, no, I don't have a shirt, blah, blah, blah. And then Big E comes out with his new shirt, and Apollo Crews comes out smiling with a stick figure shirt for Sammy. But you know, and by the way, I'll go ahead and say it. We forgot to mention Big E's coming out with the powder again.
Mm-hmm. And a new theme song.
And a new theme song, of course, which we knew he was going to get. I had no doubt he was going to get that. But we get a Big E versus Sammy match here. And I got to say, man, I'm liking the Big E run. I'm liking where it's going. I hope it lasts. I hope it lasts. Smart.
As do I. I mean, they're starting at least. I had seen they were talking about some potential people for Roman to wrestle at WrestleMania. His name was floated on that short list of people, but I guess it got shot down because he's not where they want him to be quite yet. But I mean, they obviously just started the singles push, so
right.
Hopefully we'll get there soon.
Yeah, hopefully we will. Wife shot, wife shot. Thank you, baby. Cheers to you.
And it is, in fact, almost 11 your time. So again, on the top of the hour.
She is good at calling when the hour's almost done. All right. Yeah, I really hope they continue this Big E run. Again, I've praised Big E. I don't know how many times on this show. I've said before, I feel he can be your champion. I don't know why you wouldn't want Big E with his charisma, with the fact that he knows what to say and what not to say, with the fact that he is just a very likable guy doing talk shows, doing your media, going out there with that belt on his shoulder and just going out there and being Big E, being himself. I don't know why you wouldn't. So I'm hoping this lasts. I'm hoping eventually this comes to him beating Sami Zayn, getting that IC title, which, you know, the IC title used to be the guaranteed way to almost get your way to the championship, you know? The heavyweight championship, Smart.
Mm-hmm. It was a workers' title. It was supposed to be for the people that were really good wrestlers or the people that they thought were next in line for the world championship.
Right. It was the title that built you to that championship. And I'm hoping that's what they're going to do with Big E. Maybe go a little old school and do that with him. It's looking like they may, but I'm not sure. I would hope they did, man. I would love to see this guy on the news, on the fucking talk shows, being himself, being the funny Big E that he is. But this match, I enjoyed it. It was a fun match, and they made it even more fun by kind of the way they had Big E lose. Again, they didn't have Big E get bitched out, which I appreciated. It was more of a count out. Mm-hmm. It was a Sami Zayn being smarter than Big E count out, with Sami Zayn slapping Big E, rolling out of the ring, and then Big E chases Sammy goes under the ring when the ref is at 5. When that was already that. Sammy gets back in the ring, and Big E gets counted out. Doesn't hurt either guy. It actually helps both guys, in my opinion. this
I'd agree with
match.
that.
Yeah. Well, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'd agree with that because you don't have, like you said, you don't have anybody looking like an idiot. Nobody has their sort of game plan exploited, or whatever, makes a big, huge mistake. It was just more of Sandy,
Whoa.
Sammy using underhanded tactics, which is par for the course.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's what his character is, and I like Sammy. I think his character right now is great. I like that he's playing he's kind of like the Che Guevara in WWE. Look what he's wearing. Look what he's looking like. And
or even just a tamer version of like what Punk was doing. He's like, well, where's my T-shirts? How come I'm not on this? How come I'm not on that?
A little, but he's kind of trying to be the dictator. And again, I mean, I listen. I know don't sit here and say, oh, you don't know the history behind Che Guevara. He hated gays. He hated blacks. I know. I get it. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying Sammy's trying to be the dictator of WWE. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Sammy's out there hating anybody at all. No one. But I like what they're doing with him. But I think Big E, in the long run, man, they've got to push this guy. They don't. I really feel they don't know what they're missing if they don't push this guy.
Well, we were talking about not too long ago about how, like back in the day, you would have all these characters that would appear on like talk shows. You have like fucking The Undertaker on Regis and Kathy Lee or whatever. You'd have Randy Savage on, fucking Arsenio Hall. Just things like that, where it's like these larger than life, characters, and they're people playing characters. But that's like that's what I feel like makes Big E so perfect for the time. Is like he's this larger than life personality. He's a very interesting, charismatic, kind of funny guy who draws people's attention. But he's not playing like this kind of silly, outlandish character that you have to like play along with and kind of be tongue in cheek with it. He's being himself. He's like dressed a little bit, flashy, a little bit silly in that regard, but nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too outlandish for a wrestling person, character. So it's just like he is being himself, but he as himself is sort of a larger than life person.
He may be an outlandish type of character, but he also feels like that's his natural character.
Right.
So that kind of just puts him on that level.
Yeah, it's rooted in reality.
Exactly, which I think makes just, I don't know, man. But again, Sammy did win this match by count out, which again, I think hurt nobody in this match. And I think it was a good build toward both guys.
Sure.
So, and it's WWE. I'm praising WWE here. But anyway, we get Bayley backstage cutting a promo on Sasha and Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair's behind her. Now, Smark, I gotta say, blue lipstick, I don't think so. It's a little much. I'm a guy, so don't take my opinion, but I think the blue lipstick is a little much.
I kind of don't have an opinion one way or the other on that, honestly.
Okay. Again, I'm a guy. Don't take my opinion at all.
Well,
I just feel it looks a little weird on her, but go ahead.
Well, like, I kind of like some of that, which is not what she's doing, obviously, but I like some of that kind of, like, alternative punk rock aesthetic on women sometimes, where they have, like, the, fucking green or black or whatever color makeup, the sort of more eye-catching, popping type colors than just the traditional, like, red that you might see or whatever. So it's like, I like that look. Just don't really care one way.
No, I get it, but the blue doesn't go on her lips.
I see what you're saying, but like that's
again
the thing that becomes annoying about it is that they just have to force everything be blue because that's the color of the SmackDown.
I get it, and again, I have no problems with her looks. I actually think Bianca Belair is gorgeous. Her body is amazing. But I just didn't like the blue lipstick. I don't know.
Fair enough.
But I did think we'll get into the match later. And I do, obviously, this is working into a Carmella, Sasha, Bianca Belair three-way, I think. You don't think so? Not that kind of three-way, you fucking perv.
There we go. That's
Jesus
what that was for.
Christ. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into Kevin Owens out there. Kevin Owens comes out after commercial. He's throwing a table in the ring. He's throwing a ladder in the ring. He's throwing a chair in the ring. Hey, TLC's coming up. Roman watching backstage. And Jay says, let me get him. Let me get him. Let me kick his motherfucking ass. And Roman says, go get him. I like the promo by Owens. And I got to ask you something.
Sure.
Do you prefer smart-ass babyface Owens or heel Owens? Honestly. Seriously. I know it's a tough one. But seriously, what do you prefer?
I'm trying not to be the person that anyone on the internet, they always say that everyone is better as a heel.
Fuck the internet. Say what you think.
I think he pulls off the role as being like kind of still being a bit of a smartass as a face. I think he pulls it off well. I like it.
I agree. Kevin Owens is a better smartass baby. And again, I don't want to see Kevin Owens going out there and smiling and hugging babies and doing that. I like smartass Kevin Owens babyface better than I like heel Kevin Owens. It fits him. I don't know why. It fits him. But then again, if you sat there and met Kevin Owens, let's just say you met Kevin Owens in a bar. You're sitting there, you're drinking with the guy. You would kind of picture him as that smart-ass babyface, more like the funny smartass, more than the kick your ass smartass.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I enjoy it more than the. And again, it's not a lot of characters I enjoy babyface more, but Owens is one of those smart-ass babyfaces that I like. I'd prefer him as the smart-ass kind of babyface, kind of still shitting on you heel kind of guy than anything. That's just me.
Well, I think with that, though, I think with a lot of we just get so much of that when it comes to heels nowadays, of just people that are smarter than you, and they, always have to have the last word and cut you down, and the smart ass heels that we just see so much of it. To see somebody actually do it well as a face, still kind of be sarcastic and a little smarmy, it's enjoyable. It's a change of pace.
Yeah, I think you're right. Change of pace. I think it's a nice change of pace, and I enjoy it. But anyway, we get Jay eventually attacking Owens. Owens gets the upper hand for a little while, throws him into the ladder, throws him into the table, and Roman comes down.
Mm-hmm.
And Heyman, this is the first time Heyman's kind of told Roman what to do.
Right. Pushed back.
Not pushed back, but been the calmer head.
Sure. There you go.
The calmer head is how I feel it was. That's how this came off. Paul was the calmer head that would eventually persevere in the end. Listen, Paul was saying, hey, you make the rules. Owens right now has the upper hand. Don't fall into his game. This was a little more of the Lesnar Heyman than the I'm scared of Roman Heyman. And I like that. I think that's what we need more of. more of Heyman taking the reins, telling Roman what to do. So I like that. I think that's more of the way it needs to go. But not having Heyman being the I'm scared of Roman Reigns. I don't like that. But anyway, yeah, we'll get Smart back in a minute. Anyway, after we get all that, again, Owens in the ring. Roman comes out again. We get that. Now Owens comes out, and after all that, Owens walks away. And then we come back from commercial, and Owens is backstage. He's talking to Kayla, and he's walking fine. Why did he do that? Keep limping. I want to see you limping away. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Kayla kind of catches him as he's walking backstage and talks to him. Reigns hits Owens in the back with a chair and then beats the living shit out of him. And we kind of get Roman cutting a nice head of the table type promo in the camera as Owens crawling behind him, and he keeps beating the hell out of Owens. I like where this is going, and I see where it's going, and I'm willing to see it. It's going to be a good thing. Let's go ahead and go to the next match. Ruby, Liv, and Billie Kay versus Ruby and Liv versus Billie Kay and Natalya. Not crazy about this match. I got to be honest with you. Everything Billie Kay does to me seems forced. Like, everything seems just forced to me. There's nothing natural about her in that ring. It just all seems forced. Every kick, every punch, every little thing she does just seems like she's forcing it to happen, and it doesn't look good to me. But, they do a little thing in this match. Natty is supposed to be falling down, which Billie Kay misses her completely, and Natty still falls down. And then, Ruby and Liv do win the match. So, anyway. Now, after that, this is where I want to get. Mario Lopez. Mario Lopez comes on and promotes the Sasha versus Carmella match. Now, Mario Lopez has been kind of in the media lately for a KFC ad he's been doing. Not an ad. It's a Kentucky Fried Chicken lifetime. Oh, they're smart. All right. So Mario Lopez is doing a Kentucky Fried Chicken mini movie. Smart. I've got the trailer. I'm gonna play it. Smart.
This is some wild shit.
I'm
so glad that I'm back here for this.
I am so glad you are back for this, because this is... Let's play it. Hold on. Let me get it going. I hit it. It's going to take a few seconds, but we'll get it loaded up. Yeah, he's doing a mini movie for Lifetime that's going to promote Kentucky Fried Chicken, but it's literally a movie. And here we go.
What the hell are you doing?
A Lifetime original mini movie.
You don't answer my proposal, and now you're not answering my call.
I think I'm falling for the new chef.
Jessica is falling for Harlan.
The cook? Leave Jessica alone and skip town.
He has a secret recipe that's going to change the world.
Harlan claims to have some secret recipe.
A secret recipe? Spare me.
We all have our secrets. If you marry my daughter, I promise there'll be more long weekends in your future.
Mom, I have to tell you something.
We have a problem.
Secret's out, chicken man. I'll take care of this.
Ruining everything!
Just kill him already!
Who the hell are you? Harlan Sanders, the new chef.
Mario Lopez is Colonel Sanders in A Recipe for Seduction. Premieres December 13th at noon. Only on Lifetime. Presented by Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay. That's not a joke.
There is really only one way that could have been.
No.
That could have been made better is if the narration was being Bobby Anthem.
But
There's a recipe for seduction.
You're right. Bobby Anthem could have been doing that, and it could have been better.
I would give him a good $5 just to hear him say the phrase Mario Lopez is Colonel Sanders.
Oh, shit. I would fucking... Oh, my God. So, yeah. Mario Lopez, again, I had to bring that up because, again, Mario Lopez has been in the news this week for this little thing. But it is a mini movie that Lifetime is doing. So I'm going to have to watch this. Smark, I will make sure you know the time and date of this movie.
I'll fucking watch it. Why not? I've got nothing better to do.
We will watch this.
If you tell me that there's like some kind of a romantic drama based on Colonel Sanders trying to kill people, like I'm locked in.
Well, no.
Or they're trying to kill Colonel Sanders. Either
Yes.
way, I'm down.
They are trying to kill Colonel Sanders. So we will definitely be getting more into this as we go through all this. But, oh, my God. That is going to be great to watch. And I don't know why they had to have Mario Lopez. It was just a weird timing that they had to have him on. The week that everyone is literally laughing about this, whole thing there. And if you look at the video, please go on YouTube and look at that video. It is on there. Just type Mario Lopez KFC. Done. You're good. And he looks like they wanted to show the guns, right?
Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about literal firearms here.
Right. The right. No, we're talking about the fucking arms, buddy.
Oh, right.
Absolutely. We're talking about the fucking arms, the biceps, my man. And they look like they started dressing him up as, Colonel Sanders, and then we're like, wait, he looks too old.
They
stop.
Basically gave him the hollow.
Yep, they looked at it and said, stop. That's enough of the age. And they just put him in the fucking movie. It's weird. But we will talk about that more as it goes. What do you say, Smart? You there? All right, Smart might not be there. Let's go ahead and get into the Nakamura versus Cesaro. Oh, my God, Nakamura and Cesaro versus Chad Gable and Otis during SmackDown here. I see what they're doing with the Gable and Otis. Gable is kind of manipulating Otis throughout this thing, and that's going to come about as we go. So they're forwarding the Otis character in here. Again, I feel really sorry for Tucker because Tucker's not getting much at all when it comes to going on here. But we'll see what goes on there. Cesaro actually made me dizzy with how many times he spun Gable in this thing. But the Gable Academy, I enjoy what they're doing again, but I see where eventually it's going to come down to Otis versus Gable, and we'll see what happens there. Cesaro does pick up, Nakamura and Cesaro do pick up the one in this match. Now, we get to the main event, which is Carmella versus Sasha, which we again talked about in the beginning. It's for the women's championship. We knew this was going to end in kind of a. I felt this was kind of obviously going to end in a fuck finish, and it did with Carmella getting the win via submission. Not submission. I'm sorry, via DQ. And where's Smart right now? All right, we got Smart back, and I felt this match here with Carmella and Sasha was going to end with a fuck finish, and we kind of knew it was going to. Carmella, basically, to me, is Scarlett Bordeaux if you ordered her off Wish.
Kind of. I'd say I was getting more of a Lana vibe. Like a slightly better wrestler, but like more plastic looking.
I guess you could kind of go for both there. They're both kind of the same kind of thing if you work with it. But I mean, really, when you think about it,
more or less, yeah.
I mean, they're trying to bring Carmella in as this, smoke show who is doing all this crazy. It kind of is the same character when you think about it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I can see it.
But again, I didn't mind this really. The match wasn't great to me, but Carmella at the end of the, again, Carmella did win this match by DQ. She picked up the only clear bottle on the table, which kind of made you realize it was not a real glass, and breaks it over Sasha's back. I think we realized that was sugar glass, or movie, the kind of glass they use in movies. It was sugar.
Yeah, but I'll give them a little bit of credit though, because Cole sold that shit like it was the worst thing that's ever happened.
Of course. What do you?
In the history of humanity, because she broke that bottle against her bag and he goes, "What the hell are you doing? Are you crazy?"
Yeah, of course they did. Of course they did. I mean, it's fucking Cole. But yeah, there were. I don't know, man. I just not quite sure this was the way to end this show.
Well, it would have been better if it was the cage match, which is what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, would have been much better. I
have no idea where the hell I got that from, but yeah, I mean, I agree. It was a little bit down tempo, but I mean, and because the thing about it is, more than anything, is that they're going to have a match at TLC. So like the idea that she's putting her title on the line this week on a random episode of SmackDown, like that you're not going to get a conclusive finish.
No.
So there's not a lot of reason to kind of just hunker down and get invested into it.
No, not at all. All right. Now, Smart, real quick. I know we didn't usually do this, but I have got to pee like you wouldn't believe. We're going to take a quick... Yeah, we're taking a break. Real quick, like 5 minutes. I have got to pee like a motherfucker. And we're going to do that real quick. And then we'll be right back. Luckily, you download people will not know the difference. So give us a quick minute. We're going to pee. I am, at least. And we will be...
together, synchronized.
There you go. We will be right back with the rest of the show. Don't have much left. See you soon. Later. All right. Sorry about that. Had to pee. You know how it is. When you gotta go, you gotta go. But really, I had to go. So, there you go. All right. And I believe we kind of finished SmackDown from there. And we'll go ahead and get into the rest of the news. There's a few big things going on. Do want to kind of mention this right here, Smart. WWE not very happy with Snoop Dogg.
He's in the doghouse.
He is in the doghouse, sir. We forgot to mention the other night that he was doing a little host appearance for AEW on their show. And WWE not very happy about that. Is Sasha going to go through a table for 9 weeks?
You never know. I mean, she already got a bottle broken over her.
Ah, good point. Good point. I don't know. I'm obviously. I mean, you know, I've said before I like Snoop. He's on that show with Cody, and for him to be jumping over to do this isn't exactly a fucking
his choice.
It's not a fucking like. It's not like you're throwing a stone and, you know, it's right there. It's on the same channel. It's on the same everything. I don't know. I get why WWE is pissed. When they own you, they own you, right?
Right.
And they want.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Is like that's what makes it so dumb. Is like I totally agree with you. That's how they think. That's how they feel. But like, did they not know that he was already on a show with Cody? Like, is this the double whammy for them? They just weren't expecting any of this shit? Because, I mean, that's the reason why he's on there. He's on there because he's fucking promoting his TV show. He could give a fuck about AEW.
Exactly. And I mean, listen, I know he's got the, you know, I would expect Sasha to get a new theme, a new entrance theme.
I was listening for it. I was very curious if they were going to have her keep her theme this, you know, tonight.
Yeah,
and so far she did keep the original theme.
She did, and I would assume eventually that's going to change. But I mean, yeah, he's on the show with him. It makes sense, and he's. I mean, you know, this isn't fucking high school. Can we just stop this shit?
It would be really funny if they made because they made Undertaker Snoop Dogg shirts, and then it'd be funny if AEW put out like a fucking Snoop Dogg Sting t-shirt.
Well, see how that goes. But I don't know. I mean, if this burns Snoop's, you know, so-called bridge with WWE, I think it's pretty petty of WWE to do this. He didn't. Don't you?
No, I totally agree. I was just laughing because I remember that Fred Durst is still banned from WWE shows because he gave the middle finger.
True. Very true. He is. So, you know, there's one guy you can't have, but I don't know, man. I mean, Snoop Dogg is probably a name you want to keep around. He loves your company. He's his cousin to Sasha Banks. It's
right.
I would feel it's someone you want to keep, even though he's doing what he's doing with Cody. I mean, it's just a TV show.
Plus, I mean, he's on fucking everything.
Right.
Like we were talking about, I was talking to you off air about this. He fucking performed and commentated the Mike Tyson fight.
Right.
He's doing commercials with fucking Martha Stewart. He'll probably show up tomorrow fucking dancing on Ellen. Like, you know, just anything. Like, I know tomorrow's Saturday. I don't care. He'll still do it.
Yeah.
But, like, he's all...
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
A relationship with him, that it's going to hurt him to not have a relationship with you.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, you never know where that guy's going to show up. So, it never hurts to keep him on call, if you will. But let's go ahead and move on from that. WWE had an employee meeting on Tuesday. I got this right here from Wrestling Inc. They give a few highlights of the meeting. Mostly the meeting was to introduce Nick Khan. Haha, yeah, Khan versus Khan. I know. We already made the joke. He was hired back in August when we talked about it. So they kind of introduced him. He's again going to he's the chief revenue officer. So basically he's the president of the company. And we'll be, hearing more about him in the long run. But they were told about they are moving the company from not out of Connecticut. They're moving from one location in Stamford to downtown Stamford, Connecticut. So that was one thing talked about. And it was reported that Sanjay Dutt is now working as a NXT trainer at the Performance Center.
Yep, he is. Ace Steel, or Chris Guy, I guess is his real name. He's back too. He got furloughed over the spring during that big outbreak of firings that happened during the beginning of COVID. So I guess they're slowly but surely just bringing back bits and pieces of like dozens of people that they let go. So I guess good for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm glad to see Sanjay Dutt
still
back.
Kind of what they did as a whole.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Sanjay Dutt back. I mean, he's a good talent and can do a lot for the company. So good to see him back working, especially as a trainer. And we'll see what his influence brings to to people. And along with Sanjay Dutt, we got Steve Armstrong out there, another Armstrong out there, Chris Guy, also known as Ace Steel. So, many more things happening in the Performance Center, and we'll see what happens in there. And that was really most of the highlights of that call. One other quick thing, and then we'll get into the last thing we're going to get into tonight. WWE NXT is looking to form one other show, Smark.
Oh?
In India.
Oh.
Yep. WWE NXT is reportedly scheduled to launch in 2021, so look out for that.
Trying to get some of that sweet Ring Ka-King money.
There you go, the Ring Ka-King money. The new NXT India TV series will air in the Indian market and is expected to begin filming in January, according to Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics and John Pollock of Post Wrestling, who the latter is who I would actually take their word from than the other guy. So we will see, but they've been breaking into this market for the last 2 years, Mark, I would say.
Seems like it, yeah.
Seems like it. We'll see what this does, and we'll see where they bring this. Hey, don't ask me if Kali's involved. I don't have a clue. But
I mean, in a way, it seems kind of like this is a contingency plan of a sort. Because they did, they got NXT UK going, so good for them. But they were trying to do NXT Japan. That didn't work. Like, all the Japanese promoters, kind of just told them to go fuck themselves. They're not working with them.
Yeah.
Which made me laugh. They tried to do an NXT Mexico. That didn't work because just, the tradition is so strong over there. It's hard to break in. And then you end up becoming this is the third or fourth option for them. So it's I bet you they're thrilled in India to hear that, basically they're the fucking sloppy fourth or fifth.
Yeah, I mean, and WWE does have the distribution deal with Sony Pictures in India. So, they got to do something with it. They don't want to waste the money on it. So, that's something they'll do. And I don't know. We'll see what happens with it and how they progress.
Do you think that they're going to? Because I mean, this is still Vince at the helm that we're talking about. So I mean, think as though you're Vince. Do you think that they're going to end up signing a roster full of native-born Indian wrestlers, but then in order to try to make it more quote-unquote palatable for the rest of the world, they're going to give them names like Steve and William?
Well, they're going to start out. I figure they start out with the regular names, and then once they come to them, they'll move on from that.
I see.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring. All right, let's get into the last thing, and then we're going to wrap this up. And this is kind of a big thing that a lot of people are talking about right here. According to Meltzer on Wrestling Observer, WWE and Vince, according to Meltzer, this is Vince's idea, is going to be bringing some guys back to the Performance Center to get them more training. The main, I mean, some of the names on this are Otis, Dabba-Kato, Mace, who I believe is Dio Madden, and Omos. Now, the one name, Smart, that stands out to me as possibly going back is Keith Lee. What
exactly?
What could Vince see bad in Keith Lee if Meltzer is right on this?
I'm gonna hit the buzzer and I'm going to say, what is skin color, Alex? But no, seriously, like, what has he done wrong? Like, he hasn't had bad matches. The whole big, thing that everybody's been complaining about is how his entrance attire changes or his ring attire changes.
Yeah, exactly.
How the theme song isn't good.
Exactly, and maybe he's talking about his promos, but once again, Keith Lee's
they're not though, because they're talking about sending them to the Performance Center, and they're talking about having them be trained by Drew Gulak and by Adam Pearce.
Right, and Adam Pearce.
They're not going to, with all due respect to both of those guys, they're not going to teach them how to cut promos. They don't know. I mean, exactly. I'm all joking aside, though. They're there to teach them to wrestle. You're not, if you wanted them to get better at promos, you're not putting them with Gulak and Pearce. You're going to put them with, they got like Shawn Michaels down there,
Yeah, and I mean, but Keith Lee, again, promo-wise, I know. You may say he's bad. I like his promos. I think they fit him only. Wrestling-wise, though, I don't see an issue with Keith Lee. And I think if you see an issue with Keith Lee's wrestling, I don't think it's his wrestling. I think you're saying Keith Lee is fat. And Otis, to be honest with you. I don't see a problem with Otis wrestling either in the ring. I think actually Otis is good in the ring. I think you're saying these guys need to fucking go back and trim up. That's where I'm at.
Big Show. The old Big Show provision where they sent him down to OVW to lose weight. I mean, it's not, and they did that with I think like Yokozuna too and Vader maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
They sent that. They sent them to fucking fat. They sent them to a weight loss facility.
Right, and you're right.
But I think that's kind of maybe the crux of it.
Yeah, listen, you look Dabba-Kato, I get it. Dio Madden, I honestly haven't seen much of his NXT stuff, or anything else of his, so I don't really want to comment on that. Almost
that's a problem. That's a problem too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, okay, he's not a good wrestler, but you're saying, well, that's what they're putting out there, that he's not a great wrestler. But like you said, you haven't seen him wrestle, which means they're not giving him reps, theoretically. They're not putting him on TV to try to fucking work it out.
Right. I mean, almost, I haven't seen him. I can't comment on that, and I wouldn't. So, I don't know. It's just, but again, the main standout there is, what's your problem with Keith Lee? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But obviously, this was one of the most talked about things today because this came out today, and I can't see why Keith Lee would be in that group. I mean, you take Keith Lee and Dabba-Kato. I'll take Keith Lee. You take Keith Lee and Mace. I'm taking Keith Lee. Keith Lee and Omos. I'm taking Keith Lee. Keith Lee and Otis. I'm taking Keith Lee. But I don't know. I don't see. And again, this is just a couple of dirt sheets doing this. Let's not sit here and be like, ooh, this has to be Vince. But to me, it feels like out of this group, Dabba-Kato, not in horrible shape. Dio Madden, not in horrible shape. Omos, big and tall. And then 2 heavier guys.
Right.
I feel like this is something that they want these guys to trim down a little bit and come back looking jacked. I don't know if you can do that with either one of these. They're bigger guys. Keith Lee is not going to come back looking like Triple H. Absolutely not. Keith Lee will come back looking like Keith Lee. So I don't know what they're going for here, honestly.
Oh, no, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And, like, the Keith Lee part is, like, the part that stands out the most because, like, they more than maybe anybody else have, like, used him stop, start, like, more than maybe anybody else.
Right.
Because when they had first signed him, there was rumors that he was going to just even skip NXT and be straight to the main roster. That's how much they believed in him, was what they were reporting.
Mm-hmm.
That turned out to be bullshit. He goes to NXT. They use him for a little bit on NXT, but then there goes several months, and granted, he was injured during a little bit of this time, where he wasn't booked on any of the takeovers. Then they get the NXT TV show. He starts getting booked on takeovers, starts getting over. Survivor Series thing happens. He gets super over, ends up, moving on to the main roster. They start using him well enough at the first. He beats Orton or whatever at the pay-per-view, and then next thing you know, we're right back to where we started again, them being displeased with him. He's been that for the entire time. Keith Lee has been Keith Lee. It's one thing if you don't like him, but he has not been any different from when you were scouting him on the indies to where he is now.
Yeah, exactly. He's been the same guy, the same size from here to there. He hasn't grown. He hasn't fucking done anything. He's just the same guy. And anything else is on you and your writing and your storylines. So I don't get it. I don't see what they're doing with these guys, but I don't know, man. What else you got?
They're not necessarily news as much as it is. I just have 2 little tidbits.
Okay.
AAA is doing Triple Mania tomorrow. It's going to be at 8 p.m. It's their kind of big pay-per-view show, except that they're going to be giving it away free on YouTube, on their YouTube channel.
Nice.
So if you want to watch that, it's free for everybody. Kenny Omega is going to be defending his belt against Laredo Kid. So that should be an interesting match. There's that. And also, something that's a little bit more universal for everybody to enjoy. Today is the 19th year anniversary of the Booker T Stone Cold Supermarket Brawl.
Oh, very nice.
I was going to try to send you a clip, but I started watching it, and you just have to watch it. It doesn't work in audio.
No. That's definitely something you have to watch. And I remember that. I remember watching that live.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yep. I remember watching that live at my house in Florida. Good times. But on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and get out of here. We've done plenty for you guys tonight. A packed show as usual. And, of course, on that note, I want to make you guys check out the high marks. That is Cheeseman, Mojo, and that is G-Wiz. You guys want to check those guys out right there on the Metal Mitt Network. That's right, 2 T's in Mitt. Metal Mitt Network right here on Mixler.com/Metal Mitt Network. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights. Check out those guys. Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades, The Inhuman Experience. Subscribe. You will not be disappointed. All the usual podcast platforms you'll find those guys on. And, of course, Unscripted Wrestling. You will find those guys, Blog Talk Radio, and, of course, on every other podcast platform out there. And they are on, like I said, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You never know when they're going to be on, but they are on. And, of course, Steve Milan, I appreciate you sharing the show, man. Really, really do. Letterboxd, BOXD.com/Steven Milan, 2 L's in Milan. That's where you can find him over there reviewing movies. And you can review us on iTunes. You can even find us on Spreaker. You can find us on YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, and Smart. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mondays, 8:30. Metal Podcast Network is where you want to be because you want to be listening to Cheese on Sports with Cheese Man with the high marks. And what else do you want to do? Do you want to join me in a winter wonderland that we like to call Planet Raconteur? That is the Planet Raconteur podcast with Bobby Anthem, with Yuck Nasty, with Papa Dave Sincere. All 16 episodes, standalone stories, interviews with authors, whatever you want, whatever you need, whatever you desire is available at your podcast catcher of choice.
There you go. Don't forget to check that out. Every other show I mentioned. And we will see you Wednesday night. Right, Smart?
Yes, sir.
See
you.
It's time to take the band home. It's all right. If you don't know what to do with yourself, take your drunken ass home. Yeah.